the Finance and Audit Committee meeting for September 12th, 2013. And I must state that this is absolutely beautiful. Congratulations to the men and women of Sac Metro, the consultants, the craftsmen who made this come together. It's absolutely beautiful. Don't know what else to say. Thank you all very much. Madam Secretary, are there any public speakers?
No, there are not.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll move ahead. The consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
And I'll second that.
On the question, before you pull the vote, if I
Yes.
could, I just wanted to bring up that at our last finance meeting, Director Monk had inquired in regards to some issues on the legal bills, and I believe the direction was to get me something in writing with questions so I could get him answers to that. And we want to make sure we're forthcoming. I have not received anything as of yet, and so that's why I don't have any information for you today. But I wanted to give that a reminder that if that's needed to be done, please get a hold of me. I'd be happy to do it.
That is in the minutes. Director Monk, do you have?
Yeah, Chief, I was just going to make a quick phone call to the General Counsel. It's not a big issue, just a little more specificity in the summary that they give us is what I was looking for on several of those issues.
Okay, with that, we'll call for the question.
Directors Monk
Aye.
and Scheidegger.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously with Director Jones absent.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next item, which is the legal bills.
That was actually adopted as part of the consent
Oh,
calendar.
I'm sorry. That's right. Okay.
We're being expeditious.
We're going to move on then to Ms. McFarland, presentation on the workers' compensation actuarial review. Good evening. Everything works?
It's a first here. For the record, Rhonda McFarland, Chief Financial Officer, and tonight we'll be discussing our self-insured workers' compensation program liabilities. The program that we have in place to be self-insured began in 1987, so well before the existence of the present Metro Fire. I listed down here for your information a number of pieces that make up the program, and we have underlying excess insurance of $3 million with Safety National Casualty Corporation, and they were recently upgraded to AM Best rating, or A+ AM Best rating. And the claims oversight is by our Human Resources Division, and in conjunction with the administration by York Services. And the report that we will be discussing tonight that talks about our liabilities was prepared by Bickmore, our actuary. And they have evaluated the actuarial date of the report was August 14th, 2013. So this came in right about the time that we were completing our final budget. And they have estimated outstanding liabilities as of June 30th, 2013, and estimated 14 and 15. The purpose of this report, it complies with Government Accounting Standard Board requirements. In our financial statements for the government-wide presentation, we do include the total liability in our balance sheet. We also use it as to look at trends for safety training and to help us determine reasonable funding levels for the budgeting. Overall, the results show that we have 24.6 million liability for workers' compensation claims as of June 30th, 2013. This report is prepared every 2 years, and that's why they're projecting 2 years worth of information. And so that was an increase of $6.3 million since the evaluation that was done in 2011. And they're estimating for the current fiscal year that the liability at the end of the fiscal year will be $25.4 million. The primary reason they saw the large increase was they felt that, or was due to claim reserves. Based on some increases, they made the comment that they felt that the claim reserves were more adequate at this point. And that was offset by lower incurred but not reported claims. And just for the record, incurred but not reported basically means that either there was an injury that was not reported, and we do require that they be reported within 24 hours, or that a claim was an injury was reported, but we did not identify any large impact. And later on, as time goes on, we see what the impact is. So they have an estimate based on statistics from past history, and they use that to determine that incurred but not reported. And overall, the claim frequency is trending down while the claim cost is trending up. We fund our workers' comp program in our budget basically on a pay-as-you-go basis. And what this graph is showing is the actual claim payments since 2008. And so for the last 3 years, it's been pretty constant. And we currently have in the budget $2.4 million. The year just completed, it was $2.3 million, and in 2012, it was also $2.3 million. I will note that the actuary thinks that these numbers are going to be going up, so we will keep an eye on it, and if necessary, come back to you at mid-year for an adjustment if needed. We've only had 1 month that we've paid so far, and it was in line with the costs that we were seeing in the prior year. So at this point, we're right on track on budget. The graph called estimated liabilities is basically looking at the liabilities on a accrual type basis. So you've got in the blue the incurred but not reported reserves that I just was talking about. We have the case reserves, and we also have a small amount for administrative claim reserves. So in total, for 2013, we're at $24.6 million, and at 2014, they're estimating $25.4 million. The liabilities by year incurred, I am trying to show you of that $24.6 million at June 30th, 2013, what years the injury was sustained. And you can see that we are paying down the things prior to 2010, and the bulk of the outstanding liabilities pertain to 2010, 11, 12, and 13. In this last slide, I wanted to try to depict the $24.6 million as it relates to reserves. And we have, between the amount that we have in our budget and the amount that we have set aside as reserves, approximately $6.5 million. And so that's what the blue and the red is indicating. In our reserve policy that the board just passed recently, we said that at a minimum we wanted what the short-term reserves that were identified in the most recent actuarial report. So that's the $4.4 million. So we actually have $2.1 million more than what we set as our minimum. But it's important to note that we have unfunded $18 million. And so that is something, as down the road, as we have more financial ability, would be something to consider funding in the future.
I'm sorry, what's the difference between the red and the blue?
In the report prepared by the actuary, they identify short-term and long-term. And so the blue is what they identify as the short-term, and the green and the red is what they identify as long-term. And the reason I broke out the red was to show that the combination of both the red and the blue represent the funding levels that we have in the budget. in addition to the reserves that we set aside. So we have set aside about $4 million in reserves, and we have about $2.4 million in our budget for claims payments. So of the money coming in this year, we're setting aside $2.4 million for workers' comp claims. And that is the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer it. I was limiting this presentation basically to the financial implications of this report. And so that's what I feel that I can explain. But if you have any questions outside that scope, we certainly can bring in other people.
I wanted to make a comment to you, Rhonda, on this. It's like a lot of the other reports that you've given us. There's a lot of detail in this, a lot of history in this, and it gives us an excellent tool to manage this program as it goes forward. So I appreciate all the detail in it. You never have enough detail. You may not use it all, but you never have enough detail to compare and plan as we go forward. So I appreciate that. No other question?
Yeah, I agree, and not only meeting accounting standards with this, what is it, every 2-year review and report, but also I think it's important to look at these data and be able to assess trends and kind of take a look at where we've been and where we're going in terms of this important area. So thank you very much for your report, and there is no action required.
No
right?
action.
Okay, so I think we're done. Thank you.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much the agenda. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 10th in this beautiful forum, this beautiful venue. So I guess, not given anything else, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's just a ton of information in there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Just as time wise.